The entity that felt pride, that got inflated, artificially inflated. Who was that entity? That's ego for you. Can you see the structure of ego? Can you see how cunning it is? How destructive it is? There was something in me that wanted to become bigger, better, and more. And that's ego. Ego wants to become bigger, better in the eyes of others. We become bigger and better in our own eyes when we see that in others' eyes. That's the structure of ego. Namaste. I'll share a very interesting story with you. I recently went to Shimla along with my son. He's 8 years old, so it was a father-son date. And when I was in Shimla, I remembered one incident that happened when I visited Shimla the last time. And it was maybe around 10, 12 years back. That time I went along with my wife. So we were just roaming around on the mall road, and we entered one showroom. We started looking at shawls, and my wife liked one pashmina shawl. And as a true Indian, I started negotiating with the shopkeeper. I said, "What kind of discounts can you give us?" And he said that they don't really offer any discount, and we'll get the same piece in Delhi, maybe 2x, 3x of the price that they have. And at one point, shopkeeper asked, "Where are you staying?" And he asked it very subtly. And I said, "We are staying at Wildflower Hall." Now, if you don't know about Wildflower Hall, that was and still is the most expensive hotel in Shimla. And I remember I could feel a sense of pride, my chest getting inflated. Uh, it was a different feeling. And after listening to it, he said, "Sir, you are staying in Wildflower Hall. This cost is nothing for you. We don't really give any discounts." And it was, and he became even more rigid. And he didn't really offer any discount. And finally, we bought the shawl. Now, why am I telling you this story? The entity that felt pride, that got inflated, artificially inflated. Who was that entity? That's ego for you. Classic case of ego. Despite knowing that why is this person asking me this question, and if I tell him, it will only weaken my case, weaken my negotiation power, I still went ahead and told him. And not only told him with a sense of pride, with a sense of, I'm staying at Wildflower Hall. I'm just acting it up. I tried to made it very subtle. I'm staying at Wildflower Hall. Can you see the structure of ego? Can you see how cunning it is? How destructive it is? Despite knowing that it is only going to weaken my case, it is going to result in a loss, I still went ahead and proudly told him. I could have avoided that question. I could have said something else, but there was something in me that wanted to become bigger, better, and more, and that's ego. Ego wants to become bigger, better in the eyes of others. We become bigger and better in our own eyes when we see that in others' eyes. That's the structure of ego. Isn't it funny? And isn't it sad? Isn't it strange how we are okay to harm ourselves. In this case, harm in monetary terms, but we are okay to harm ourselves in order to feel bigger internally. Did I become bigger or better? I met that person for the first time, and I think I'm not really going to meet him in my life again. But still, that means my ego chose to feel bigger. That's how ego works. We are even okay to harm ourselves as long as ego thrives, survives, and inflates. Would be very keen to know your stories. If you are comfortable sharing them, you can share them in the comments, or maybe share them at feedback at idanim.com. So when we become of this pattern, it loosens up. But it was a funny, strange story that I realized in this trip and thought of sharing it with you all. Namaste.